All right. So I saw this story. I thought to myself, William's going to like this story. It's the story of the football coach that got thrown out of his job because he had the nerve to take a knee after the football games they would play and pray on the football field. And of course, he got attacked by all the ninnies. But something really good happened, William. Tell them about it.
Well, this is a lesson for people who care about good governance of their nation. Fight the weaponization of the justice system. It's happening all the time. We see it in so many places. But here's a place where one citizen, a person like you and I, nobody, fancy in the world, but says, I'm not going to stand for our justice system and our legal system being weaponized. And what the government had done here is they literally weaponized the First Amendment. They took that part of the First Amendment that said you can't establish a religious government, and they changed the meaning of it to say you got to have a secular reason for everything you do. And that's why baby Jesus gets kicked out of the public park. And that's why he got, fired basically for taking a knee on a public school football field. And so this guy got up and he had the courage to be fiercely unafraid to stand for the truth. And what he did with compassion and respect and the love of Jesus, this coach took that knee and fiercely stood for truth. And so, of course, he's then fired. It goes all the way up to the Supreme Court. It takes over 7 years. Now, again, when you're fighting the weaponization of the justice system, know that it's not going to take a week or two. This took over 7 years. And this week, or at the end of on Friday Night Lights, we got to see the coach take a knee again because the Supreme Court did the right thing. They finally returned the First Amendment to what it means. You've got a fundamental, unalienable right to the free exercise of your conscience, to the free exercise of your religion. You've got an unalienable right for freedom of expression. And here's the great thing about this. When this coach stood up, it allowed lawyers from all over the country to come behind him, and we were some of them that came behind them and present to the court an option that cancels the weaponization of the legal system. And the court said, you know what, we ought to return to a place where we say just what the Constitution says. And that's what they did. And in doing so, they said, when we look at the First Amendment, we look at the whole thing together. We look at freedom of religion. We look at the freedom of expression. And we look that you can't establish a religious government. And we read all that together. And when you read all that together, a person's religious expression is doubly protected. And so it was so fun to watch, all these little woke lawyers just kind of have tails between their legs and go home, because most of the time we're on the losing end of the left's attack.
But we've won a lot lately.